Trading coming to you with another live stream for the VIP members. First things first, shout out to the stream sponsors, guys, of CoinCatch and Stryker.ai. CoinCatch is a perpetual exchange of choice. They have great liquidity, great pairings, no KYC, no VPN. There's nothing to not really like about them. If you have any issues or you have any questions, please reach out to me and we can kind of get it squared away. Also, Stryker.ai, it is the new platform, the AI platform that I am working with. They have a really good macro calendar that I look at every single day. Kind of tells you when CPI is going to happen, kind of tells you when FMOC is going to happen, and just a lot of different macro events that are all compact into one spot. More to come on that. I know it's been a little bit of time, but I will be doing like an extensive breakdown on how to use it, what to look at, that sort of thing. As of right now, this is a long. We had created this long back on 8/20, so about 11 days ago, about 12 days ago, guys. This is a long entry, that 109.019. Now, is this going to be a deviation below it? That's why I say that these are areas of interest to be building a position, right? Because you're not going to catch the Pico bottom. If you can build a position between that 110 and that 107 and look to be getting an average in this area, then yes, if we do get that reclaim of this range and price does move in the direction that we want, which has the most NPOC prints to the upside, then yes, it's going to be a good trade. But I think the skepticism is there. The questioning of the setups are there. The questioning of the strength of the crypto market is there. But as of right now, there's really no reason to think that support is going to be broken, right? Support stays support until proven otherwise. And as of right now, we just kind of mapped it out. This is a very clear support level that we once had as resistance, now retesting it as support. So for me, plan stays the same. I am not going to overcomplicate this. I think this is a buy area. Now, have I been in and out of trades? Have I taken some losses? Yes, of course, but you're not going to be trading it perfect. And so that's kind of why I'm kind of assessing it the way that I am. It doesn't matter if I get an entry at 108, 107, 109. When price reclaims back into range and we're retesting these NPOC levels at 113, 114, you're making some pretty good profit. So that's what I'm looking at. That's how I'm looking to continue to put forward my efforts, right? And so again, I'm not going to we can make new setups going forward if you don't want to take this, but as of right now, this is an active long. We wanted a long at that 111.291, 109.019. That is the long area that we've been wanting to be building a position right now. Going forward, if we don't get this to hold and we see a little bit lower, then, I think that's always the question is, well, what next? What's going to happen now? And that's why I like doing these streams, is because we can do it right in front of you guys, with you guys, the entire step of the way. So if you are thinking lower and you think that BTC is going to have a deviation, or you think that, markets are cooked and you have, thinking that we're going downside, I think that BTC will be bouncing. As of right now, this is an active long, but going forward, if you don't want to long that and you think that we're going to go lower, I think another good area of interest to be longing is going to be that 101.406 long entry, right? So I don't know if I'm going to be waiting for that. I still think I might jump into a BTC long here today. I don't know when I'm going to. Of course, I will always keep you guys updated on that sort of stuff, no matter what, when I take those trades, but this would be based off NPOC prints. If you are unwilling and not wanting to take the long that we are currently actively in, then you could potentially have a little bit more patience and be waiting for that 101.406. So that would be the next long entry, guys, right? Short stays the same. We wanted that short up at that 118, 119 area. We didn't get it, but if we do retest those levels, that should be a take profit level. That should be an area that you're looking to potentially take off some risk, just depending on how your game plan is, depending on what you're trading. If it's Bitcoin, if it's altcoins, if it's Ethereum, we can kind of just go from there. But as of right now, guys, we are still within this range. As much as people say that it's over, you see these long extensive threads on X on people saying the top is in, this is mirroring the top in 2021, right? To where we barely broke the highs. And then we had that massive sell off from about that 69 to about that 16K. But, I think that there's room for argument to where the timeframes are completely different. People are arguing this top to this top. Even looking at a 3-day, you can see the difference in the chart. So I get the fractal setup, but for me, not really into that. I still just think having the game plans going forward is going to be the best way to go about trading Bitcoin. Bitcoin top indicator, not seen anything from the Bitcoin top indicator yet, guys. Again, I will tell you this, we want to see that bright yellow. We want to see that red. We want to see that stuff printing. Again, this is a weekly chart, so you cannot really trade low-term timeframes based on this, because these candles don't print at the end of every week. So you can see a strong move, but you won't see that bright yellow until the close on Sunday, right? So it just depends on your perspective. But again, this is a high-term time frame anchor chart. I am not taking low-term time frame trades based on this, but what I do know is that I am more than willing to have a little bit more patience to see some bright yellow flashes, to see some red flashes before saying, hey, maybe we could start to hedge a little bit better. Maybe we could at least not be so trigger happy to the long side. And again, I have not really seen that, so plan stays the same going forward. So going into Ethereum, guys, we are potentially at a long. We had wanted to long this back on 825, and this was a area of interest at 4431, 4310, and 4191. So this entire area is the discounted buy on Ethereum. Between that, I think it's a $200 difference. So again, it's not a crazy difference percentage wise. It looks a little bad. If you're using high leverage, if you're using all your portfolio on like 50x cross leverage, yeah, you're not going to be able to dollar cost average into these plays. But again, I still think that we have the possibility to run down to that 4191 on Ethereum. That would be a great area to be bidding for me. I hope we get it. I don't know if we do. We can look here at the low-term time frames on ETH and just see if there's any sort of strength. Not seeing too much. I think BTC is a little bit cleaner. And that's why I'm kind of not like jumping to the gun to get back into a long trade. Again, we've attempted them. We've taken some losses, taking a step back, reevaluating, coming here for the stream with you guys, talking it over with you guys, all that sort of stuff. If you took some losses on trading the past couple weeks, just know that a lot of people have as well. It's not just you. It's a tough game to be playing. So 4191 NPOC print is that last NPOC print to the downside on Ethereum that I want to get tested. And so that is probably why I'm probably not going to be jumping into any altcoins currently. I don't know. We'll just see. I won't say that I'm not going to, because then I'll end the stream and I'll be in a fucking bonk trade in like an hour, right? So I don't want to say never, but that would be the ideal entry on ETH, would be that 4191. We've talked about this, guys. We talked about it last stream. Wanting a little bit more downside on Ethereum. It's just overextended like crazy. And so for me, I think that 4191 NPOC print would be an area that I would be probably bidding a little bit more heavier on Ethereum. Some of my trades haven't been full position size. I've been kind of like dabbling into them, haven't seen the reaction, closing them, taking a loss, whatever. But this area is going to be where I would probably add a little bit more heavy onto the long side, right? So that's for Ethereum. Let's just look at Sol real quick. We are kind of trading within this current range here. And so for me, you guys know my buy areas, right? I think my buy area would have been more something along the lines of back here when this was the range, right? We deviated outside of this, and then you could have gotten acceptance, and then you were able to ride Sol up a little bit more than where we are. I think Sol's a little bit of a chase here, so I will not be bidding Sol unless we get some sort of decent correction, maybe down to this like 180. But also Sol's strong. Sol's been strong. There's a lot, like I said, WorldFi's launched on Sol. There's a lot of different stuff going on with Sol. So maybe we should be trading it a little more actively than some of these junky altcoins like Bonk and all that sort of shit. This is another good example of why I think we have the potential for more upside push. It looks like Ethereum, like literally looks like the fucking Ethereum price action that we've seen, with a little bit of differentness within here. But COVID run up, sell off, and then we obviously had the Trump sell off for the tariffs. And then like, to me, it just seems like we are building a base at big resistance levels. Again, it's not breaking resistance yet. It could just take time before we see a big move to the upside within the crypto market overall. So, looking at a chart like this on total, yes, we are coming up to some resistance levels. But again, like I said, it could be into 2026. I think that's the thing for me, is still continuing to have patience with all this shit and not being too focused on the, what's going to happen for the next week, the next month. Yes, it's a low-term time frame trade and it's a swing trade that you want to be trading for a couple of weeks for sure. As far as the overall market goes, I still think that we just have some room for upside, but that does not mean that we can't see retests within that, right? We have a trend line right here. Maybe we retest this trend line about that 1.21 trillion. And then we see the bounce, right? So again, it's just having patience for that. I don't know when it's going to happen. I cannot see the fucking future, but all I do know is that things still look decent without massive breakdowns happening across the board on majors, right? This is why I do like BTC more right now than I do like Ethereum and altcoins. I have been dead wrong on this fucking BTC dominance chart a couple of times. I tried to call the top, I don't know how many times on this, and it just fucking continued to go higher. So take it with a grain of salt, right? It's not a chart to be trading, obviously. It's just a chart to be knowing what is happening on. I think that this is a pretty decent level of support on BTC dominance. So what would that mean? If this does catch, then that would mean BTC starts to take a little bit more control. And again, I still think BTC has the cleaner setup here, right? I still think that this is a better setup to be longing than like Fartcoin, than like CRV, than like Bonk, all that sort of shit. I just think that Bitcoin dominance holds. Bitcoin could kind of rally again. It kind of takes away from the altcoins, unfortunately. Kind of takes away from Ethereum, unfortunately. But again, this would be like how that structure would work. We bounce here from BTC dominance. BTC starts to gain, maybe it makes new highs, and then it gets rotated back into Ethereum, back into select altcoins for now. Let's look at Sui. I am a big Sui maxi. I like Sui, of course, you guys know me on Sui, but I also have my Sui entry at like 38 cents, right? So a lot of this isn't going to matter. This is a stream from all the way back in 2023, which is when I took my Sui entry. So again, take what I say on Sui as a grain of salt. I want Sui to go exponentially higher. I'm going to say it's going to go exponentially higher, but I'm holding it from 38 cents, guys. You know, again, I think that this could potentially be a mid to high six-figure trade for me. I'm up pretty cleanly on it right now, but again, I am going to continue to have patience on this Sui trade because it is spot. There's not a lot of risk when it comes to the low-term time frame movement. I'm still up bigly on this trade, and so again, I am just a very big Sui maxi for that reasoning. But we are falling out of lower limit here, very similar to what Fartcoin looked like, very similar to what CRV looked like, to where we were sitting at that discounted buy. There's been no buy pressure here. And so again, maybe this fades back down to the 280 area. Again, it's not going to change my perspective on it. It's not going to change my game plan on it. I still like Sui for higher, but again, it's what your situation is, what your setup is, and that sort of thing. We will be doing another $500 giveaway this week. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or Wednesday or what. I post a tweet. All you have to do is go and repost it, and then we get someone to pick. But again, I'm going to be taking you guys through my journey with me every single day, what I see on the charts, the trades that I take. I am an open book. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to me. Even if you just need to fucking talk about a loss or a gain or what you should do, I'll do my best to help you guys along your journey as well. It's always good to have a mentor, and I want to be there helping you guys if you need it. But thank you guys for joining the stream, and I will see you over in the Telegram. Peace out.